The housing market is about to experience something far worse than what we saw in 2008. It wiped $2.8 billion off their market value in a single day. Let me take you inside what might be the most significant housing market warning we've seen in the last decade. This week, D.R. Horton, America's largest home builder, revealed numbers that sent Wall Street into a panic. But the real story isn't just in their earnings report, it's in the details that most media outlets completely missed. Here's what happened. On Tuesday morning, D.R. Horton's CEO David Auld held an earnings call that changed everything. In just 45 minutes, he revealed that new home orders had plunged 38% in their key markets. But it wasn't just the drop in orders that scared investors, it was the company's desperate attempts to move inventory. For the first time in D.R. Horton's 44-year history, they're offering unprecedented incentives across all price points, from starter homes to luxury properties. Let's put this into perspective. D.R. Horton isn't just any builder. They're the largest home builder in America for 22 consecutive years, responsible for constructing 1 in every 10 homes across the country. Last year alone, they built 82,917 homes and generated $33.5 billion in revenue. When a company this size starts sounding alarm bells, we need to pay attention. But here's what makes this situation truly unprecedented. D.R. Horton's cancellation rate has jumped to 27%, meaning more than 1 in 4 buyers are walking away from their contracts. This is happening despite the builder offering to buy down mortgage rates by up to 3 percentage points, a cost of roughly $40,000 per home that comes directly out of their profits. The market's reaction was swift and severe. Within hours of the earnings call, D.R. Horton's stock plummeted 11%. The entire home builder sector lost over $7.4 billion in market value. Trading volume spiked to 6 times the daily average, and Wall Street analysts issued 7 downgrade warnings. But here's what's even more concerning. The warning signs D.R. Horton revealed aren't isolated. They're showing up in data across the entire housing market. In the last 30 days alone, new home inventory has surged 97% in their primary markets. Price reductions are appearing on 42% of new listings. Construction companies have laid off 27,000 workers, and major land acquisitions have been halted across the Sun Belt. The last time we saw similar warning signs was in early 2007, just months before the housing market began its historic collapse. But there's a crucial difference this time, one that suggests what's coming could be even more severe than what we experienced in 2008. Think about this. During the 2008 crisis, D.R. Horton's worst quarterly cancellation rate was 33%. Today, we're already at 27% despite builders offering far bigger incentives than they did back then. And we haven't even hit the peak of this cycle yet. Let me break down exactly what's happening at the regional level, because this isn't just a national trend. It's a market-by-market transformation that's accelerating faster than anyone expected. Let's start with Texas, because what's happening in the Lone Star State is a preview of what's coming nationwide. In Dallas, where D.R. Horton has their highest concentration of inventory, we're seeing something remarkable. New listings have surged by 112% compared to last year, while median prices have dropped 5.2% in just 90 days. Local real estate agent Sarah Martinez, who's been selling homes in Dallas for 22 years, told us something shocking last week. "I've never seen builders this desperate. They're offering incentives I didn't even know existed." The situation in Austin is even more dramatic. Remember the city's explosive growth during the pandemic? Well, now we're seeing the aftermath. Inventory has skyrocketed by 143%. That's not a typo. Homes that would have sold in 48 hours last year are now sitting on the market for an average of 97 days. Local builder confidence has dropped to levels we haven't seen since 2009, excluding the brief pandemic shutdown. Houston presents another troubling indicator. Builder cancellations have jumped 47%. But here's what's really concerning. It's happening in every price range. This isn't just entry-level buyers backing out. We're seeing cancellations in the luxury market too. Just last month, a prominent Houston developer halted construction on a 200-home master-planned community, citing unprecedented market uncertainty. But it's not just Texas. The Florida markets are sending equally alarming signals. In Tampa, where new home inventory is up 78%, Builders are doing something unprecedented. They're outbidding each other on incentives. One major builder is offering a 4.99% rate lock for 30 years, essentially paying hundreds of thousands per home in buy-down costs just to move inventory. Orlando's numbers tell an even more concerning story. Price reductions are appearing on 42% of listings, but here's the key detail. These aren't small adjustments. The average price cut is $42,000, and some builders are reducing prices 3 or 4 times before finding buyers. Disney's recent announcement about investing $60 billion in their parks over the next decade should have boosted the market. Instead, surrounding areas are seeing the fastest inventory buildup in Florida. Jacksonville builders are offering average incentives of $42,000 per home. But let me share what that number really means. On a $400,000 home, builders typically make about $40,000 in profit. They're essentially giving away their entire margin just to avoid sitting on inventory. Industry veteran Mark Thompson, CEO of Florida Homebuilders Association, called it the most aggressive incentive environment I've seen in my 30-year career. The Atlanta market adds another layer to this story. While not D.R. Horton's biggest market, it's showing similar patterns with a troubling twist. Investors who made up 32% of purchases in 2022 have virtually disappeared. Institutional buyers like Invitation Homes and American Homes for Rent, who were aggressive purchasers just months ago, have completely halted their buying programs. Local realtor data shows investor purchases down 68% year over year. What makes these regional trends so concerning is their synchronization. We're not seeing isolated pockets of weakness, we're seeing coordinated deterioration across multiple major markets simultaneously. The last time we saw this pattern was in late 2007, but there's a crucial difference. Back then, the decline was gradual. Today, we're seeing markets turn in a matter of weeks, not months. Now, let me show you something that's sending shockwaves through the entire construction industry. The unprecedented level of builder incentives and the mounting inventory crisis that's forcing builders to take desperate measures. Let's pull back the curtain on what builders are really offering right now, because these aren't your typical seasonal incentives. We're seeing what industry insiders are calling panic pricing. D.R. Horton is offering a 3% mortgage rate buydown. That's about $42,000 in cost on an average priced home. But here's what they didn't mention in their earnings call. They're also providing another $25,000 in closing cost assistance and up to $75,000 in premium lot discounts. One D.R. Horton sales office in Phoenix is even throwing in luxury car leases for buyers who close within 30 days. But it gets more interesting. Lennar, America's second largest builder, just launched what they're calling their Whatever It Takes program. They're offering to buy down rates to 5.99% for the entire 30-year term of the mortgage, a cost that could exceed $100,000 per home over the life of the loan. This is something we've never seen before in the history of U.S. home building. Let me break down the actual costs these builders are absorbing. Rate buydowns, $40,000 to $100,000 per home. Closing cost assistance, $15,000 to $25,000. Design center credits, $30,000 to $50,000. Premium lot discounts up to $75,000. Additional incentives, pools, landscaping, etc., $20,000 to $40,000. Some buyers are receiving total incentive packages worth more than $200,000 on million-dollar homes. Think about that. Builders are willing to give up nearly all their profit margin just to move inventory. Speaking of inventory, the numbers are staggering. Nationwide, completed but unsold homes have increased by 128% in the last year. But here's what makes this situation different from any previous housing slowdown. Builders are sitting on what industry insiders call shadow inventory, homes that are nearly complete but intentionally being left unfinished to avoid counting them as standing inventory. We spoke with a former VP of construction at one of the top 5 builders last week, and what he told us was shocking. Many builders are deliberately slowing down construction, leaving homes 95% complete but not installing final fixtures or flooring. This way, they can avoid listing them as completed inventory while they try to sell their existing stock. He estimates there are over 100,000 homes in this shadow inventory category nationwide. The inventory situation is creating a domino effect throughout the supply chain. Major suppliers are seeing orders drop precipitously. Lumber orders down 42% year over year. Window manufacturers reporting a 35% decline in builder orders. Appliance manufacturers seeing a 28% reduction in new home orders. And flooring companies reporting a 31% decline in builder business. But here's where it gets really concerning. Builders are sitting on massive land holdings they purchased at peak prices in 2021 and 22. D.R. Horton alone has over $9 billion in land and land development costs on their books. This land was purchased assuming home prices would continue rising. Instead, they're falling in many markets. The pressure to move inventory is becoming so intense that we're seeing builders undercut their own recent sales. In Las Vegas, one major builder sold a model home for $680,000 in September. Last week, they listed an identical floor plan next door for $589,000, creating instant negative equity for their previous buyer. This inventory crisis is also affecting the resale market. Every discounted new home creates a new comparable sale that drives down values in the entire neighborhood. Real estate appraisers are now using these heavily incentivized sales as comparables, forcing even more price reductions in the resale market. The psychological impact of this inventory surge is creating a snowball effect that's transforming the entire market dynamic, and it's happening faster than anyone predicted. Let me explain exactly what's unfolding, because understanding this psychology is crucial for anyone involved in real estate right now. Remember how just 18 months ago buyers were getting into bidding wars and offering $50,000 over asking price? Today we're seeing the complete opposite. Buyers are now sitting on the sidelines watching prices drop week after week. We recently interviewed a potential buyer in Austin who told us something revealing. Why buy today when the builder might drop prices again next month? The bigger the incentives get, the more worried I become about buying too soon. This wait-and-see mentality is creating what economists call a negative feedback loop. Here's how it works. As inventory rises, builders offer bigger incentives. These incentives signal to buyers that prices are negotiable, so they wait for better deals. This waiting causes inventory to build further, forcing even bigger incentives. We're seeing this play out in real time across major markets. Let me share some specific examples that illustrate just how dramatically this is affecting prices. In Phoenix, a KB home community sold homes for an average of $585,000 in January. Today, identical floor plans are being offered at $499,000 with another $40,000 in incentives. That's a real price reduction of $126,000 in less than a year. The psychology here is fascinating. Buyers who purchased in January aren't just underwater on their mortgages, they're watching their neighbors get essentially the same house for 21% less. The price deterioration is spreading to the resale market in ways we've never seen before. Here's what's happening. When builders slash prices or offer massive incentives, they create new comparable sales that appraisers must use. James Rodriguez, a senior appraiser in Dallas, recently explained, "We're seeing situations where brand new homes are selling for less than 3-year-old resale homes in the same neighborhood. This is completely upending traditional market dynamics." The psychological impact on current homeowners is particularly severe. In Florida, where inventory has spiked 78% in some markets, homeowners are watching their equity evaporate in real time. A recent survey of Tampa homeowners revealed that 64% believe their home is worth more than it actually is, a phenomenon psychologists call sticky price thinking. They're anchored to peak prices from 2022, even as the market rapidly shifts beneath them. But here's where the psychology gets really interesting and concerning. Builder behavior is starting to show signs of panic. When D.R. Horton offers a 3% rate buydown, Lennar responds with 3.25%. When Toll Brothers offers $50,000 in design center credits, KB Home counters with $60,000. This competitive undercutting is creating what industry veterans call a race to the bottom. The impact on real estate agents' psychology is equally telling. A recent survey of 1,000 agents revealed 72% report buyers are explicitly waiting for lower prices. 84% say their buyers are demanding incentives equal to what builders are offering. 91% believe current home prices are unsustainable. 68% are advising buyers to negotiate aggressively. The shift in market psychology is also affecting the lending environment. Mortgage lenders are becoming increasingly cautious, knowing they're originating loans on homes that could be worth less in 6 months. Some are even requiring additional appraisals or offering price drop protection, a clear sign they're worried about future values. The most alarming psychological shift is happening among investors. Large institutional buyers who were aggressively purchasing just months ago have virtually disappeared from many markets. They can see the inventory numbers and price trends, and they're doing something that should worry everyone. They're waiting for prices to fall further. Now, let me connect all these pieces and show you why what's happening today could be even more significant than 2008. But in a fundamentally different way. This isn't just another housing cycle, it's a structural shift that combines elements we've never seen before. Please take 2 seconds to help us out and hit the like and subscribe if you find the video interesting so far. Each like and subscribe helps support this channel and keeps us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, back to what I was saying. Let's start with the key differences. In 2008, we faced a subprime mortgage crisis. People who couldn't afford homes were given loans they should never have qualified for. Today, we're facing something more complex, an affordability crisis combined with an inventory glut. Back then, nearly anyone could get a mortgage. Today, even well-qualified buyers are struggling to afford homes at current interest rates. Here are the numbers that tell the story. In 2008, the median home price was about $196,600 and average mortgage rates were around 6%. A typical monthly payment was about $1,180. Today, we're looking at median prices of $431,000 with rates at 6.9%, creating monthly payments of $2,850. That's a 142% increase in monthly costs, while median household incomes have only increased by about 4% during the same period. But here's where it gets interesting and concerning. In 2008, builder inventory took almost 2 years to reach critical levels. This time, we've seen a 97% increase in just 9 months. The speed of this inventory buildup is unprecedented. During the 2008 crisis, D.R. Horton's worst quarterly cancellation rate peaked at 33%. Today, we're already at 27%, despite builders offering far bigger incentives than they did back then. Let's look at the market psychology differences. 2008, crisis triggered by mortgage defaults. Gradual buildup of distressed properties. Slow recognition of the problem. Limited builder incentives. Foreclosures drove price declines. 2024 to 2025, crisis triggered by affordability collapse, rapid inventory buildup, immediate market recognition, massive builder incentives, and builders themselves driving price declines. The financing environment is also dramatically different. In 2008, we had predatory lending and exotic mortgage products. Today, we have the opposite problem. Extremely stringent lending standards combined with the highest mortgage rates in 23 years. This means there's no easy fix through lending policy changes. Here's what makes today's situation potentially more severe. In 2008, the Federal Reserve had room to lower rates and stimulate the market. They cut rates from 5.25% to near zero. Today, with inflation still a concern, the Fed's hands are tied. They can't rescue the housing market without risking an inflation spiral. The builder response is also fundamentally different. In 2008, builders were caught off guard and kept building until it was too late. Today, they're proactively slashing prices and offering massive incentives, but they're doing something unprecedented. They're creating their own price spiral. Every incentive package forces competing builders to match or exceed it, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of price declines. The institutional investor landscape has completely changed too. In 2008, large investors swooped in to buy distressed properties, providing a floor for home prices. Today, these same investors are sitting on the sidelines, watching prices fall and waiting for better opportunities. Companies like Invitation Homes and American Homes for Rent, which were aggressive buyers in previous downturns, have completely halted their purchasing programs. But perhaps the most concerning difference is the scale of potential losses. In 2008, the total value of the U.S. housing market was about $22 trillion. Today, it's over $47 trillion. A 20% decline in home values today would wipe out nearly $10 trillion in household wealth, more than twice the total wealth lost in the 2008 crisis. The regional impact is also different. In 2008, the crisis was concentrated in states like California, Florida, Arizona, and Nevada. Today, we're seeing synchronized weakness across almost all major markets, with particular stress in the previously booming Sunbelt states. The very markets that led the post-pandemic boom, Austin, Phoenix, Tampa, Nashville, are now seeing the fastest inventory builds and price declines. What makes this situation truly unprecedented is the combination of record high home prices, record high mortgage rates, massive inventory buildup, disappearing investor demand, builder price wars, limited Fed intervention options, and global economic uncertainty. These factors are creating what economists call a perfect storm in the housing market. But unlike 2008's sudden crash, we're watching what might be called a controlled demolition of the market. Builders and sellers gradually lowering prices until they find the level where buyers can and will participate again. Look, what we're witnessing isn't just another market cycle. It's a fundamental reshaping of the entire housing market. The warning signs from D.R. Horton and other major builders are just the beginning. The combination of surging inventory, desperate builder incentives, and an affordability crisis is creating conditions we haven't seen before in the U.S. housing market. Remember, in times of major market shifts, those who understand what's happening and position themselves accordingly don't just survive, they thrive. The key is staying informed and watching for the signals we've discussed today. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with what you're seeing in your local market. Are builders offering massive incentives? Are you seeing price reductions? More importantly, what topics would you like me to cover next? Your insights and questions help shape the content of this channel, and we read every comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell, because next week's video will reveal exactly which neighborhoods are showing the earliest signs of major price corrections. Remember, this isn't about fear, it's about being prepared and informed. We'll see you in the next video.